DIY Father's Day STEM crafts. My name is Miss Candace. I am the Girl Experience Manager for Girl Scouts of Central California South. And today we're going to create 3 things that are based on STEM concepts and hopefully are a little bit of fun for you to make and something interesting for you to give that special person in your life, whether it be on Father's Day or another day. So we're going to go over the different supplies that you're going to need. Go ahead and reference the list that was sent in your email, or I'll also have it in the description box for YouTube. So we always like to start our Girl Scout programs with the Girl Scout Promise and Law. So in case you don't know that, you're going to put your right hand up, you're going to get your thumb, and you're going to match it with your finger, and you're going to put those 3 fingers that are left all together. And we're going to say the Girl Scout Promise and Law.
On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout Law. The Girl Scout Law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
All right, so let's talk about the supplies you're going to need for our first craft. So the first thing we're going to make is marble paint gift wrap. Now, we're kind of in a weird situation right now where some stores are open, some stores are not open. So I like to use the things I already have around my house. So if you check your supply list, one of the things you're going to need is a paper grocery bag. So I actually, so randomly, was able to get a couple of grocery bags that are blank, but if yours have writing on it, don't worry about it, it's all fine. Also going to need a cookie sheet or a long flat box with some edges on it. That's important. You're gonna need that for later. If you don't have one of these, or your parent is like, please don't get paint on that, you can actually use those gift boxes that you get like a shirt in for Christmas. Just open it up, or any cardboard box really. Just make sure that it has the edges. The next thing you're going to need, is some scissors. So I have some safety scissors because my assistant is a little guy. You're going to need 3, I put on there bowls, but they really could be any kind of container, as long as you are able to, wash them out or dispose of them appropriately. So I have 3 jars. I only have 2 in my hand right now. So I put on the supply list 2 to 3. So I have 3 just for variety. So we're actually doing Girl Scout colors today. My assistant didn't agree to that, but that's what we're doing. So we have 3 containers and 3 spoons and 3 different colors. And then I also have 3 marbles. I also put on there that you could, yeah, look at that bounced right back in. You can have golf balls if that's what you have. I mean, you could really just use any kind of ball as long as the surface is hard. You don't want to use like a tennis ball. And you probably don't want to use something as large as like a soccer ball. So do your best to find what you can. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to cut our grocery bag up so that we can actually flatten it. So with your grocery sack flat like that, we're going to cut so that we cut on this first fold here. You can see how this thing folds up. I'm going to use these, and I'm going to hope that I don't get them stuck on my finger, which is what usually happens. You may have to switch over and get grown-up scissors. So you're going to start by cutting that little fold. And what we're trying to do with the main accomplishment of this part is to cut the bottom off of the bag. So I cut a little bit. Now I'm going to cut all like I'm going quickly. My scissor skills are different than your scissor skills, and if this is too fast for you, pause the video, take your time, better safe than sorry. And you'll notice I stopped cutting when I look away because I don't need to have to do first aid today. First aid today. Okay, we're just getting that last little bit. All right, now you should have like a bottom of a bag. I would say save this and do something else with it. Maybe you can line something. Not sure. I'm going to set that off to the side. All right, so now I have very uneven cut, but that's okay because the amount of paper we're going to make is small. So we're going to take this, and now we're going to want to open it and make it flat. So we need to make another cut. And a really good way to do this is to find the fold that's on the side and just use that as your guideline. It doesn't have to be super straight. Don't worry about that. We're using I have a hair on me. A very small amount of it anyway, so you're all good. All right, so I'm gonna cut this straight as possible. And I didn't even do that straight of a job, and it's gonna be okay. So what you wanna do now is you should have like a nice long sheet. We wanna put this in your cookie sheet or your box and see how much paper can you actually fit in there. So this is too big for my cookie sheet, but we have done projects with our brown paper bags before in our house and with Girl Scouts where we've made murals out of these. We've made other kinds of wrapping paper. We've even like crumpled it up and gotten it wet and tried to like wrap it around things and let it dry and do experiments that way, but we'll see. All right, so measuring really roughly, that probably about the middle right here is about all that I can fit in my cookie sheet. So I'm gonna cut this. And that fits. Let's see. I'm gonna move this over. Let's talk about why I chose this as a craft for you and how it relates to STEM. So if you don't know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And I would say that all of these actually qualify for STEAM, which is adding the arts into it. I'm just gonna take a little fold right here so it fits really nice and cut into my cookie sheet. So the idea behind this is to teach you a couple of different things. One, really fun to paint, and it's fun to paint when you have like a specific project. But I wanted to talk to you about how engineers use some of the techniques we're going to use today. And I know you're probably thinking like, what would engineers have to do with marble painting? Well, in order to get our marbles around this cookie sheet or your box, you're going to need to move it in certain angles, back and forth. That's going to help those marbles roll around. Now, I don't know how many of you like roller coasters, but engineers use this concept all the time for roller coasters. Even the simplest roller coaster, think you go up and then you go down. It's all about, not angles, they don't say angles for that, they call it the grade. So the steepness of the angle. So where we live in California, we actually have this main thoroughfare where if you want to go to Los Angeles from our area, you need to cross over the Grapevine. And it actually has a 5% or 6% grade, which means the angle that you go up the mountain is 1 grade and the angle you go down is 1 grade. And a lot of people are confused why we don't have Amtrak trains that go through the Grapevine or over the Grapevine. And the reason is an Amtrak train could make it up the grade, but the going down would be a problem because they would build up so much speed, it would be very difficult for them to stop. In fact, probably pretty dangerous. This has made it very This is developed into other kinds of problems, like when we're trying to develop this high-speed rail, and how do you get around it? And engineers have to think of solutions to those problems. So they know that they can't take the trains up the grapevine or down the grapevine. So they're gonna have to go around the grapevine, which that's all engineering is finding solutions to problems that come up. And that's one reason why this relates to STEM. And the other reason is color mixing. So we're gonna have 3 colors in our design, but you may have 2, you may have 4, you may have 5. I would just say don't go too far, because every time you add a color, you can kind of muddy it up. And the concept between color mixing is that if you add more colors together, the colors change, right? I'm going to recommend that whatever colors you choose, you use the darker colors first and then the lighter colors on top of those. Now we have let's say a teal blue, and I tried to get as Girl Scout green as possible, and white. So the first color I'm going to use is actually that darker green. So we're going to put our marble in the paint, mix it up. Then we're going to take the marble and we're going to plop it wherever we want on the paper. And then we're going to, until we're at the point where we like. Then we can take our spoon, pick up that marble, put it in the jar, and then we'll try another color. For us, it'll be blue. So we'll plop our blue, do the same thing. We're going to change the grade on this. I would not recommend doing this. Your marble will fall out. You'll lose your marbles. Oh, I love jokes like that. Okay, and then last, we're going to use the white, because the color mixing technique works best if you go darkest to lightest. So once you've done that, you actually want to set this paper aside and let it dry all the way. It's very important that you're using washable paint, unless you're one of our older Girl Scouts and you are super skilled and you have your parents' permission to use another kind of paint. This is definitely washable. If you don't know if your paint is washable, ask an adult. There are variations to this design. If you have what we call a lazy Susan, so it's a piece of wood or a piece of plastic that sits on your table and it spins in a circle, you could actually do that. I don't have one of those. That would be cool, but I don't have one. You can also do like a crazy shake. You could mimic an earthquake if you want, but it's really up to you. But the focus of the idea is that mimicking a grade change and making the marble move. All right, so I'm going to invite my assistant in, and he's going to help me with this. He's going to make a little project for his pop-up too. All right, so I am back with my assistant. This is Henry, and he's going to make this project for his dad. Normally, I would have a Girl Scout helping me, but I don't have a Girl Scout. I have a Henry, so he's going to help me. He's a good assistant, I promise. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick one marble to put in each jar. So, bloop. Next. Bloop. All right, do you want to stir up this one and I'll stir up the blue? So we are stirring our marbles in with the paint. I know this is really probably loud. That probably is good for that one. I just want to show you, we have a nicely coated marble. We're using all washable things, but if your parents prefer that you use disposable things and toss them at the end, whatever works for your family. And now he's gonna stir up that white and make sure that that marble is nice and covered. Pick up these scissors.
It kind of looks like a blueberry.
But it's white. So we're gonna do the white last, okay? So we're gonna do the green first.
marble.
And plop it wherever you want. Awesome. All right, now, do you want to pick up the cookie sheet and kind of move it around so the marble gets paint all over the paper? Oh. Ooh. Uh-oh. This is why we're doing this on the floor. There you go.
Again.
Okay. That's why we're doing it on the floor, and that's why we're doing it with washable paint. Now, I'm seeing a problem here. The problem is, I think we need more paint on that green marble. I don't know that I put enough green paint in this jar for you. All right, how about here?
Let's start in the middle.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, what if you hold it and I hold it and we shake it like an earthquake? Woo, don't jump it. Okay, let's roll that off. All right, will you grab the blue one, please? Grab the blue marble and pop it in there. I got that on me. Nice. All right.
And maybe while we roll it around, might get some green paint, and I'll make a new color. What color does it make? Green and blue?
Like a green blue. Turquoise? We'll see. Okay, we shake it. Shake it. That's so pretty. I'm going to roll it my way. Do you think it needs more paint?
No.
Okay. Oh.
It looks all saggy now.
Yeah. All right. Let's try that white one. It's the last one.
Wait.
Ooh.
Let's see what white and blue and green paint.
Do you want me to hold it, or are you going to do it by yourself?
Let's both hold it.
Okay.
Let's go this way.
Oh, you know what I was just thinking? If a girl wanted to, she could work really carefully and try to spell something with her marble and paint. But I don't think we're there yet. I think we'd have to practice quite a lot. Uh-oh.
And maybe this
Went ahead and again. All right. Now, you can do this as many times as you like until your paper looks exactly the way you want. And if you made a mistake, that's okay. Grab another grocery bag. It's all right.
Hey, look. So.
All right. Well, my assistant feels like he is done with this. And I think it's pretty cool. That's what ours looks like. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set that aside, let it dry, and I'm going to clean up a little bit before we get started on our next craft. And if you're not done yet, pause it right here, and then you can do this part and start back up with the bracelet when you're ready. All right, see you in a minute. All right, I'm just going to give this a second to hide our little screen shares there. All right, so for our second craft, we are going to be making a coding keychain for your dad. So your supplies are going to be 1 to 2 pipe cleaners, 20 light colored beads, and 20 dark colored beads. And the reason why we have the 2 different colors is that you need to be able to differentiate between a light square and a dark square. And you'll kind of see in the next one how that works. And if you want to do more letters than 3, you'll probably need more beads, but I wanted to make sure that we had the ability to do at least 3 letters. So you may need a few more, but we're going to work on these right here. So let's move to our next slide. Now, the best way to think about coding is that it's the language behind our languages. So when you see even like a video or anything that's computer generated, there's a code behind it. It's a way that we're able to tell the computer, this is what we want to display. Another way you can think about coding is that it's a secret language. So some of us can speak more than one language. So some people can speak English and Spanish. Some people can speak English and Hmong. We all have different skills and talents. And a skill that you can learn in Girl Scouting is coding. In fact, we have quite a few different programming and coding badges at all levels. And the STEM link to this is pretty, I would say pretty big, but it's important to think about how we use coding every single day. So if you use it, if you watch TV, even if it's just regular broadcast TV, or you watch a streaming service, or you watch YouTube, somebody had to code what that is. So today we're not going to code a TV show. I think that might be a few lessons away. But we are going to code a bracelet for that special person in your life. So how this works is that the code is here. So we are familiar with the alphabet. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? All the way through Z. What this code does is it takes that letter, so an A, and it breaks it into 8 separate parts. And it says there is a dark square and a light square. And actually in computer language, there's only 2 characters as well. So when you code, there's traditionally only 2 characters, and those characters are a 1 or an I, so like the single dash, or up and down, and an O or a 0. So you're using basically I's and O's over and over again to do something similar. So if we wanted to spell A, we'll need to use 1 dark bead, 1 light bead, 2 dark beads following that, 3 dark beads, and 1 light bead. And that is how you spell A. So in order to spell the word dad, D-A-D, you're actually going to need 8 separate sets of beads for each letter. So that is red and white. In our case, we have red and white beads. That's why I did this one. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can show you how to do this in real life. All right, so I have my pipe cleaner right here. Got it? So what's fun about this is that you can actually put it on a keychain loop if you have one. I didn't want to put that in the supply list in case you didn't have that around your house. But because with a pipe cleaner, you can just make a little loop like that and have an adult help you secure the end if you can't do it. So let's start by making a loop, okay? And then I'm going to reference our chart. So for dad, right, we're going to do 1 red bead, okay, 1 white bead, and then 2 more red beads. That's just the first half of that letter. Okay, so 1 red bead, 1 white bead, 2 red beads. Also, I didn't have a lot of red beads, so I had to like find some that were like really tiny, but whatever. So the second part of D is 4 more beads, and it goes 1 red bead, 1 white bead, and then 2 red beads again. All right, so this is D. Ready? 1 red, 1 white, 1 red, 1 red. That's half of it. Another red, another white. That's my assistant getting upset over superheroes. And 1 more red, okay? All right, let's work on A. A is a little bit different. A begins with the 1 red. That's my ice maker, if you can hear it. It's just getting hot where I live, so ice makers are important. All right, so we have our 1 red. I did a different red for this one just so you can see the difference. So A is one of those. And then we have a lot of red in between, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 red beads. After that white bead makes the A. And I'm gonna have the code when I'm done showing you this. So what you can do is you can pause the video and then you're able to work on it, okay? And then the last 2 beads for A, I know we're not done yet. Then we gotta do D again. So you're gonna have your pipe cleaner, you're gonna do 1 more white and 1 more red. And if you're confused and you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, you can always pull these apart and count to make sure you have 8 for each letter. So let's review and make sure we have enough for A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so again, A is 1 red, 1 white, then 4 reds in a row, another white, and you end with a red, okay? So now we're just gonna repeat D again. So we can look at the pattern from before. We're gonna start with a red. I'm gonna use one of these little beads again so we can differentiate. 1 red, 1 white. Keep that pattern going. 2 more reds. Actually 3 reds. 1, whoops. 2, 3, and then after that 3rd red, you're gonna have another white one. And then you're gonna have 2 red beads. Ready? Now, something that I always like to tell girls, because they may not know, is that our national CEO, Sylvia Acevedo, math played a huge part in her life. She was an astrophysicist or a rocket scientist, and I've heard her speak a couple of times, and she always really emphasizes the use of math in her profession and how important it was for her to be able to do high quality math. But you know, you start somewhere. You start learning how to count, you know, up to 20, and then you keep going. And our older Girl Scouts take really high level math classes. I know this because our Girl Scouts get these scholarships, and I get to read all about all the hard work that they do. Really amazing. So this encoding language spells dad. Now, once you get done with that, you're gonna see you have this open tail. So what you can do is you can make another loop. That's probably the easiest thing to do. You can make a little, well, I would say the loop is the easiest. So how I did that was, show you. So I have a straight pipe cleaner, kind of straight. And then you're gonna make a loop, and you're gonna have a little tail sticking out. So it kind of looks like a B, I guess, like a lowercase b. And then you're gonna tuck that little tail under your loop, until it doesn't go anywhere. Now, for those of you that are like, my dad's not gonna use this, he doesn't use keychains. Well, Henry's dad doesn't either, but this is something that they could put on their luggage. Like Henry's dad does a lot of hiking and climbing. We do travel a bit when it's safe. And so this would be a great thing to put on their backpack, and they are able to identify which bag is theirs. Also, it's nice to have a little memento on your bag. I don't know about you guys, but I like to have cool stuff in my bags, like patches from places I've been. So that's Dad. And what I'll do is I'll share my screen again and I'll freeze the image so you can work on that if you would like. And then actually what I'll do is I'll move to the next slide after that. And I will show you Pop, because I know some people don't call their dad Dad, they call them Pop. So there's Dad. You can pause if you would like. And then our next slide is Pop. The same idea. So you're going to be spelling P-O-P. So that's a red, a white, a red, a white, and then 4 reds in a row. And then for O, you're going to have a red, a white, a red, and then 4 whites in a row. And then for that P, you're going to have 1 red, 1 white, 1 red, 1 white, and then those 4 reds in a row. So if you need a pause here, I'll let you do that. Now let's say your dad doesn't go by Dad. Your dad doesn't go by Pop. Maybe he has a completely unique nickname to us, and you want to make sure that he gets all the appreciation that you want. So here is the coding language. Feel free to pause it here, and you can spell out what you would like. If you're struggling with the amount of letters that you have, feel free to have an adult help you, or you can also write the letters out on a piece of paper and then write the code down so that you can do it not from a screen, but from a piece of paper. Everyone is a different learner. I want to make sure that you know that just because listening to the instructions or seeing the instructions, if you don't get it, that's okay. There are many ways for you to learn. All right, Girl Scouts. So we're going to move on to our last craft, which is not coming up. Let's see here. I'm going to stop sharing for just 1 second. See if I can get that to scroll forward. Do. There we go. All right. Back to share. Also, if you see my screen and you're like, oh my goodness, she has so many tabs open, it's just the way I work. Just like I said, if you learn differently, that's totally fine. I definitely am okay having a lot of different things on my screen. I do get comments about that. It's just how I can organize things in my mind. So what we have here is our third craft supplies. So you will need 2 to 3 sheets of construction paper, some scissors, which you probably have from our first craft, old magazines, and you can either use a glue stick or school glue, whatever you have, it's fine. And if you don't have glue, use tape. It's all good. And then you're gonna probably need some markers, crayons, or colored pencils to further decorate. All right. All right, so hopefully you have your supplies ready. And if you don't, feel free to pause it here and then have somebody help you. So what I have are my tools, or my supplies. I think actually a scissor is a tool. So when I was a teacher, we used to teach hot dog and hamburger fold. I don't know if that's something people teach or if that's just like a California thing. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to fold your paper in half. Now, if you can't fold paper in half perfectly, please don't worry about that. I don't think the person that you're giving this to is going to be too stressed out that it's crooked. But I will share with you the way that I learned how to do it so I would stop getting so frustrated. And I should tell you that I'm the kind of person that even when I was in kindergarten, I wanted to do it the right way. And if I couldn't do it the right way, it was very frustrating for me. So if you feel that way too, I understand. So we're going to fold our paper in half, and we're going to fold it from the top part of the paper to the bottom part of the paper. Okay? Now, how I learned how to do it in a way that makes it so that it's pretty straight is that I fold it in half, kind of like a taco, okay? And then I take these edges and I move them together, and then I hold the corners here, okay? As best as I can. I hold it really tight, and then I go in the middle and I squish it. So if you just get that one fold right there, that one little crimp, that can help you. And then I can turn it over and I can fold it like that. And it's not perfect, okay? It's not perfect. It's pretty good. All right, so this is our 3D card. In order to make a three-dimensional object, it means that it can't just be flat. So two-dimensional is what a piece of paper is, right? It has two dimensions. It has, I would suppose, length and width. Okay, we've got that. Length, and width. Well, I suppose it's the other way. Width and length, because we fold it in half, you know. The third dimension is kind of like height or depth in this case. So what you're going to need to do is first, you're going to find some objects from a magazine or a newspaper that help express something that you want to say to your dad, your papa, your whoever, so that you can put that on here. So I've done that already, and I'll show you what I cut out. So Henry's dad doesn't go by dad, he goes by papa. So I cut out a P, an A, an A. I think I lost a letter. Ruh-roh. Well, I cut out another P. I'll find it. I lost my P. And then I also, this just says now, it says paw, which I bet some people call their dad's paw. And I cut out a little guy that's riding his bike, which I actually cut the guy's head off because he wasn't wearing a helmet, and that's not okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put these letters up against my paper. I'm just going to kind of roughly measure, like about how wide this is going to be for my card. Well, I'm going to make the card. Do you want to help me? Watch
This. Activating claws.
My assistant is fighting crime all the time. Okay, so I'm going to measure this out, and then I'm going to cut my paper. Do not cut your paper before measuring, because you may have to cut again, which is why you have more pieces of construction paper. And Miss Candace definitely does, because she makes mistakes all the time. All right, so I measured, and I'm going to cut from here to here. All right, and you're looking at this and you're like, what is she doing? So I have like this whole center section cut. All right, so I have two flaps and I have one big flap in the middle. Now here comes the 3D part. Ready? We're gonna open the card and you're gonna pop that center cut out. Now this is, please be careful and don't paper cut yourself. So you're gonna pop out that center section, and we're gonna fold it so it's in reverse, okay? So it should kind of look like that. Got it? Okay. So now we're gonna fold it in half again, just like We're gonna push down that fold as far as we can. You're a daisy, and you need help from a grown-up. That's okay. I kind of feel like I need help. We're gonna push that center part down, and so you still have your two flaps open right here. And when you open it, it's 3D. Got it? Okay, one more time. I'm gonna pop this fold back up. Okay, so there's our cuts, right? You see our cuts? You're gonna open up your paper, and then you're going to push that center cut in, and you're gonna fold it backwards from the way it was. So it was that way, now it's up, okay? And then you're gonna hold that closed, and you're going to crimp it, or you're gonna fold it so it stays. Now, I am going to fold a second piece of construction paper. My glasses are sliding all around. I'm gonna fold a second piece of construction paper, and I'm gonna actually glue it on the outside so you can't see this cut. And I made them the same color. If you don't have a second piece of construction paper, or you wanna use something else, please, feel free. I think this is a great use of scratch paper because you can put the writing on the inside and glue it. So for my glue, I just am using good old glue stick. And this is washable. It's very important. And a note on your magazines. Unless you have your adults' permission, or you know that these are definitely like recycle, we're getting rid of these magazines, I would wait and don't cut them up until you have permission, because you don't know. It could be a special project for somebody. So I'm gonna work on this, and then I'll be right back. And this is the time when you can pause the video and work on your paper. All right, so I have my papers glued together, and I've done just a light, so you can kind of see it in the light, a light bit of glue on my fold. And the reason is we're gonna start placing our three-dimensional objects. So there's my P. There's an A. Someone's fighting crime again. There's another P. I finally found it. It was under one of the paper bags. And the good thing about school glue and glue sticks is that you can move things. So there we go. That spells Papa. Now I'm going to add our little cyclist. And then after you've added your three-dimensional object, whatever that might be, you can take those markers and you can write a special message. So I love a good, one moment please, you're gonna have to wait. I love a good, they call them dad jokes, but I think mom jokes are better. So maybe we'll write on there, Papa, I really love you, or Papa, you're on a roll, that sort of thing. So you're just gonna decorate that. I would let it dry a little bit before you fold it. And that is our 3D card for your dad, or anybody really. I mean, these days you should be able to craft a whole bunch. We have time off, we have time at home. Should be really fun. So I hope that you enjoyed today's crafts. I had a really great time with you. And if you're watching this playback or you missed our original session, I can't wait to see you again soon. And if you're a Girl Scout from outside of our area, welcome. Please check our calendar. You are always welcome when we have things online. And we're gonna end like we always end. We're gonna have a big old virtual friendship circle, and we're gonna sing Make New Friends. Please be safe, please take care of yourself, and make the world a better place.
Make new friends, but keep the old. new friends.